Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 22. Now he's gonna struggle. Is he actually gonna be able to get up the hill? That's the important question. That is a fair weight that he's got on there. Yeah, he's doing it. He is doing it. He's grunting his way a little bit. He's grunting a bit, but he's getting there. I reckon he'll be alright. Shift it forward a little bit on there. Don't do anything clever now. Alright, we don't need you being clever. This one seems to do a better job of scrambling up the hill than our Valtra does. And the Valtra is a fairly strong tractor. That one does have a fair bit of power to it, but this one seems to just have the edge. At least for pulling up the hill. It's all down to the gearbox and the driver. That's what it is. It's the gearbox and the driver. The other tractor would be fine with whizzing up and down the hill. I think it actually travels faster than this one. The only issue is that the other one, he changes gear at the wrong time constantly because of the AI, which is something that's beyond our control. See that front wheel spinning? That front wheel is spinning a bit now. Doesn't like that. He's sitting up in the air and begging a little bit there. AI Worker G has completed their task, which means that we could, if we needed to, put this stump grinder on the other tractor. I'm going to see what he's like with this one first. Carry on up through. I do like the sound of this tractor. It's sounding rather good. Now, I like the sounds in general. I mean, does anybody have any major complaints with the sounds in the game? I seen in the patch notes that there was an issue with the animals screaming horribly every now and then, and that has now been fixed. I never heard it. I was never able to experience the joy of the animals screaming horrifically, and, you know, the sort of thing that would make you remember it for years to come and have you waking up in a cold sweat. Just the memory of the screaming. I never experienced any of that. Now, let's start that one up. And he's gone. He's done and dusted. There's nothing in there. And lift forestry mulcher. Turn him off a minute. Okay. Trying to drive forward, he doesn't drive forward. But he does actually make a new field when you lower him down. He's creating a new field here. I guess that we would be doing that on this area here, because this area is... Let me start that one up there. We should... Right, he absolutely will not move anywhere when this one's going. That doesn't seem to be an option. So what I think we're going to need to do then is we're going to lower this one down and we're going to drop this, we're going to unhitch this one. So, in theory, we'd be using this one to do this area because it's filled with tree roots. So I'm just going to park this tractor here a second, and I'm going to take this one over here. That's the edge of the field, so I'm going to leave the plow right there a minute. Unhitch that. And I'm going to go and put this stump grinder on. Now, we could use the stump grinder to create new field on this bit here. It looks like it's creating new field. That's what it's doing right there. That is actually creating field, which is lowered down. And I'll double check in the shop and see if it's saying that in the description. There, forestry can use trees and bushes. It doesn't say anything else. Right. This is something that we can experiment with a little bit. We can just sort of see what the limits of this thing are, what its capabilities are, what we're allowed to do. Because we've got a patch there, it's left it looking cultivated. To start you up, I got a more powerful tractor now, and it does actually move as well. So I'm going to bring this one over like that. I'm going to lower it down. Right. Right, what have I got going on here then? That one does that bit, and then you've got this piece on the back. I don't know what the bit on the back actually does. Oh! The bit on the back seems to... Wait a minute. Lift, change cruise control, open AI worker, turn off. It doesn't say allow create fields or anything like that. But if I lift that one up out of the ground and I drive forward, it's leaving a cultivated surface. If I do that, it leaves behind a ploughed surface. So we'll do that. That would be the one that we would be using if we were to go and do this. And then I just want to have a look in here. Now I can't see anything on that bit. But if I go back to the filter, that's giving me ploughed ground right there. So although it's not saying that it creates fields, it is actually creating a field. And if we leave this down and running, why did it not do this when I was using it in the time lapse? Why wasn't it? I thought you would have to create a field. Like I would do this, but it didn't. Oh, wait a minute. I wonder. It's a forestry machine, isn't it? Oh, no, it's doing it here in the ploughed land as well. Did I use a different one? Right, I really don't know, but in theory, what we should be able to do with this one, as it's now working completely, I won't be able to do this with the hired help, but what I can do is if I start it here, like this, we'll have to do this manually. Start that one up. I can use it just on this bit right here and plough this section where the forest is, or where the forest was, and that's what we're gonna try and do. That I'm gonna do this section all the way down. Actually, I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna expand out the line, because I've either got to do it with this or I've got to use the plough itself that we've got, and I don't really want to use the plough because it's gonna take longer. So I think it will. This is going to take longer or not. He's doing it. He's doing a great job. He's ploughing it all up. Get all of these bushes done as well. And there goes a stump. Oh, that was fantastic. It's taking out the stumps. It's removing everything. How many stumps have I got here? Am I moving along a piece of wood or something? Yeah. Oh, maybe it's just the shrubs. Maybe those little shrubs in the ground, maybe that's something that they do. Oh, this is so cool. Yes, it is. Like that, going over that shrub, it does actually give you the wood kind of pattern, as though it's breaking up wood chips when it goes over those. That is amazing. That is really, really cool. It's definitely slower than using the standard plough, though. Right, we are struggling with this a little bit. He's now out of the ground. I'm going to leave him out of the ground because I don't really want him in the ground to take this bit out. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be high enough to be able to remove it without digging a hole in the ground. Forward and back. Still working on that stump. Right. Oh, there we go. We got it now. Okay, so I got that stump out of the way. But it's gone and, like, dug out this new bit, which I didn't really want it to do. So I'm going to do one more pass along the bottom end. It does seem to be rather slow doing it like this. So if I do one more pass, we'll hitch on the normal plough, and we'll have a go with that one, and we'll see how it compares. We've got a little bit of work to do to get all of... I mean, we're in no particular hurry. We're in August at the moment. Planting doesn't even start until we reach September. And then we've got September and October in order to get all the planting done. So, yes, it would be great if we can get the planting done in a timely manner towards the beginning of September, which means that we'll have an earlier harvest. And that's kind of what we want. We want to angle towards an earlier harvest if we can get one. But it's not essential to our plans. Now, are there any other stumps that have been left behind? I don't think there are. We're grinding out a few of these little shrubs and stuff here. Giving this one a decent workout. The next question we need to answer is whether or not there will be any stones being dragged up by the plough. Very, very few stones here being dragged up by this one. The ground is uneven enough right there that it's lifting it out of the ground completely. That's right. Oh, there's a bunch of stones there. Okay, let's stop that one a minute. And I'll back up the hill. Like that. And then we'll lift the spike up. I really like the fact that you put the spike in and it gives you a ploughed texture instead of a cultivated texture. Like, I'm actually really impressed with that. That's a it's a big step up from the base game stuff in the last version. Like, but then I've been saying that all the way through with this. Like, there is so much in this round of the game that has improved over the last round of the game. And yes, I do still hear the whole, well, it's just FS19 with mods. Well, yeah, okay, that's fine. It's allowed to be FS19 with mods. It's just now that it's part of the base game, all the other mods are based around that instead of being around the old base game. So instead of having any update on a mod or something break potentially 300 other aspects of the game that we had, we've now got all of that as part of the base game, and we no longer have to worry about a single mod breaking all of the other mods. And this is a good thing. This is a positive thing. Okay, I've just enabled allow create fields, and that is considerably faster. I mean, maybe if my tractor was able to drive a little bit faster, it might be a bit better, but I don't think it's going to make a huge amount of difference. So we're going to have to work this patch over now with the plough. And then once we've done this bit, I mean, we have got a 4-furrow reversible plough here, so it shouldn't take too long to go and do this. It should be a reasonably quick job. And we've got some other bits that we're going to need to do around the field as well. So we've got a bit of work to do with the ploughing. I'm going to finish out this section before I sell the stump grinder. Reason being, if we've still got a stump under here somewhere, I would like to find it before I sell that stump grinder, because otherwise we're going to have a stump left in the middle of this, and that's going to be a bit of a pain. If we can get rid of the stumps, plough out all of this first, then that would be fantastic. Because then what I can do is I can hitch that stump grinder back onto the John Deere. That one can drive it down to the dealership. We can sell it, or we can buy a cultivator that the John Deere can cope with, and then we can bring them back up here. All of which will be absolutely fine. There is a couple of bits here that seem quite uneven, which I'd actually like to work on, so we're going to do that in a second. Construction, landscaping, that one right there, and boost that out a little bit. I need to go in here like this. I'm going to, there's a bit up there that I want to level off. I'm just going to smooth a few of these little areas here. It's not going to take a massive amount of money to do it, but it will be something that will help us when we come to do our harvest later. The combine is not going to be there. There's a big sort of ditch right here in the middle. The combine is going to have issues with those areas if we're not careful. That's why I want to get rid of them now. Also, while I'm doing stuff with the plough, so if I accidentally do, like, mess anything up too bad. There. bits over here. It's nothing major. There's no huge bits. You can see there's a few bits there that's kind of moving around here and there, but generally it's not. And I think I've used, what, maybe 150 to do that? So not much at all. Let's bring that back round. And just do it smooth. Okay. Rather than doing it little bit by little bit when we find it, I figured if I just go over the whole thing and smooth off everything, then it should all be done. Except I can see a bit right there. How did I manage to miss that? Behind that tractor. Landscaping, smoothing tool right here. Just bring it out like that, and in this area here. I think it was here, actually. Further back than I thought, but yeah. Yeah, see how much it's moving. And that unevenness in the ground can actually make a big difference with the combine. I know that we've got quite a small combine, so it shouldn't make... Well, we don't have... We will have quite a small combine, so it won't make, like, a huge difference like that to it compared to a combine with a really big header on it, but it could still make a difference. We don't have that, like, one of the old combines anymore, do we? But, I mean, those combines were old when I was a kid. And that was, well, I'm 40 years old now, so, you know, I can remember back riding on the thing 35 years ago, and those combines were old antique things then. So I guess that's why they're probably not included as much in the base game. Like, I know that there was one included in the FS19 base game, and I was thrilled to bits with having that one in the game. But I can see why it wouldn't be included, because it's so old now that it's sort of... How many farms are going to have an ancient old combine like that? Like now, the antique combines, these up here. There are people who are going to be swearing at the screen right now. There are people who are going to be cursing up a storm over me. This one right here, this was a new combine when I was a kid. These are the antiques now. I'm really sorry, ladies and gentlemen who are watching, but this is an antique machine. This is an old antique machine now. It's no longer a new-ish or just a second-hand machine. It's an antique, right? And though that old one, and this one here as well, this thing here, this is an antique. This is from the days of yore. This is no longer just something that's a bit second-hand. It is from the days of yore. Many moons ago. There's going to be some people upset with that. I guarantee you that there are people going to be upset with the very concept of those combines now being classed as antique, old, collectible items instead of just a second-hand one that was purchased recently brand new. It wasn't purchased recently brand new. It was purchased brand new when you were a child, if not before then. And times have changed since then. Lots of time has changed since then. 30 decades. 30 decades? 30 years. 3 decades have gone by since those things were being manufactured and purchased, which is a long time. A very, very long time. Could be even longer than that. Like, you've also got the CLAAS Dominator as well. I got that one on the time-lapse series. That's an old combine now. Like all of these things. Time has ticked on. It's left us behind. We're now no longer the younger generation. We're no longer the... we're barely even hanging on to middle ages these days. We're barely hanging on to being middle-aged. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you all so badly. I can feel the anger and the hurt and the outrage coming through strongly from the future as you watch this episode. Do I sound sorry? Do I sound contrite? Do I sound like I really didn't mean it? I'm in this too, you know. I'm in this too. I mean, here I am complaining about... Well, I'm not complaining. I'm just stating, you know, I'm 40, so I'm really old. There are those of you who watch who are a good few decades older than that. I know this. And are probably laughing at us young whippersnappers. And then there are some of you who are in your 30s who barely just now coming to terms with the fact that you are in, you know, you are actually aging. You are advancing in years. You're in your 30s. It's all downhill from now. Just pick that one up there. Okay, I'll stop now. It's all good. You're as old as you feel. If you don't feel much older than 20, then you're probably not much older than 20. Just leave it at that. I don't feel old. I've never really... I've never... You know, tell people I'm 40. I don't feel like I'm 40. I got some experience of the world. And I see all these jokes about how I should be taking ibuprofen for my back every morning because, you know, now I'm 40 and I'm old, and I've never really felt the need to do that. Really notice any difference, to be honest. Really notice any difference at all. I mean, I suppose actually, no, there is one difference. There is one difference. When I go, you know, if I'm talking to people, and you find out that, you know, they're university students, which I went to university. I went to university with students, and some of them were older students. You know, you had students who were in their early to mid-20s, and, you know, so they'd taken a few years out, and they were the mature students. Now, when I speak to somebody who's in their early to mid-20s, they do seem awfully young. They do. Like, you look at them, and they do have this appearance of being awfully young. I think that is probably the only difference that I have actually noticed with being 40 years old. I don't notice any other differences. That's about it, is that the young... People who seem young are now actually older than they used to be. Like, it used to be that if someone appeared young, it was because they were, you know, 15 years old. Now, the person who, you know, could be mistaken for being 15 years old is actually in their early 20s. And this is unusual for me. This is taken a little bit of adaptation to get used to. But, you know, that's just the way it is. Now, if I quickly... Actually, I'll tell you what, before we go doing any more with that one, let's take a hop, skip, and a jump over to this tractor here. We'll hook on the stump grinder. There are no more... Oh, wait. Oh, no, there's stones. There's no more stumps that we need to do. There is a few stones here, which I'm hoping that we can do with a stone bucket. There is one thing that I want to do. Let me hook that one back on. And if we have a look here. So we've got a nice shaped field here. I like this. But there's that little tiny bit just there, which I want to deal with. So, and you can see that the patches of blue, that's where it's cultivated instead of plowed. That's just the effect of this one. So I want to go into there, and then I want to go to construction, and I want to go to landscaping, and this time I want to go to painting. And then I want to come down over here, and it's just this little piece right here. It's not much to do very much. I'm just going to take the forestry bit, and I'm going to do that. And that was all I really wanted to do. I will remove that shrub there. That's it. I got a feeling that there might be a stump under there. So I'm just going to do that a minute. And then I'm going to use this one. I'm not going to worry about putting the spikes down, but it just seems like there might be a stump underneath it. So I'm going to start it like that. We literally cannot do anything with this one if he's running. So I've got to start it and stop it. Like that. Right, I didn't see anything come up in the way of wood chips, anything like that. So I'm going to make the assumption there that everything is actually okay with it and it is all tickety-boo. So I'm going to drive this one down onto the road just to help it out a bit, because it does seem to struggle sometimes. I'll bring you over here. It doesn't appear to like the idea when we're using the hired help to do anything. It doesn't seem to like the idea of coming up this bit here. It only seems to want to go up that route. Now, whether it's because it doesn't like that steep road there, that could very well be the case. It might not like that road. I do know that we've now had these AI improvements, which means that we might be able to have some changes in here. I don't know yet. So I'm going to put that one like that. Over here. Because I think there was some AI improvements with route finding as well. Because one of the AI jobs is that you can have it selling things. You can have it picking up produce from point A and delivering it to point B. And there was some improvements with alignment and stuff like that. So it may also make a difference on this route finding bit as well. So we're just going to leave that one to carry on. And then we are going to go up here and finish doing this. I'm curious if that roller over there can be used for rolling the field with, doing the crop rolling. Because there are, I believe, a couple of rollers that have the option to do both. Although I think you actually need to select which one you're doing. There's a new roller. Let me show you. That was one of the mods that I got. I was actually quite impressed with it. At least from the pictures. It's this one here. You got these sections here. So there's that there, and then you can choose whether you've got smooth, teeth, Cambridge. So you got those options right there. And you can have a set roller like that, or you can go with this one right here. You got frame and you got arms, and you got right arm and left arm, and standard. And then you've also got the selections here for toothed roller, smooth roller, or a Cambridge, which is fantastic. So I don't know if the smooth roller does work on the grass or not. So this is the PB5-032. And then if we go into grassland care, there isn't such a roller in here. So I don't know if the smooth roller does stretch as far as coming up onto, like, being able to do this bit, or if the smooth roller option is for grass only, or what. I'm not quite sure how that one works. But we've got this concrete roller to try out first. So that's going to be our first port of call when we're doing our rolling up here after we've got the crop planted, is seeing what we can do with it in there. Just going to do that. Our hired help is still whizzing off around wherever it's whizzing off around to. Until that one has finished. Actually, I want to go back up here and we'll follow the outside line. This, because this is the line of non-field. This is a little bit left there. So. And then as soon as the hired help gets down to the shop, we will go and sell that one, and then we can get a cultivator. Unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. A massive thank you to everybody who has earned their way into the Great Book of Names. To find out some more details about all the names coming past, please head into the description and click on the link to the Discord. It's a link to another video. The link is on the other video. Please also consider checking out the links there for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers for games like Farming Simulator, Minecraft, Ark, and several others. And there's also Fanatical, who will help support your gaming habit by providing you with cheap games and also giving me a small commission on anything that you buy using my link. If you've enjoyed this particular video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.